today we could witness history. That's right, folks. It is round 11 here in Season 2, and the championship battle between Weeksy and Stocky can very much end in today's race. This is a very key race, not only for Stocky's point of view of winning another championship, but also for creating FRR history as becoming a consecutive champion across 2 seasons in a row. It is also a day which can be interrupted by 2 very key drivers who have slid in with their great run of form between these last 3 races. Those 2 are Tria and Elite Risks. They've been on great form recently. I think they were both on the front row in Austria last race, where we saw a ton of entertainment brought live, and they did it in Hungary as well. That's Tria, I think, that actually performed as well in Hungary. Elite Risks kind of came back towards, 2 seasons ago, kind of, and since then he's been really, really fast, and honestly, fantastic behind the wheel. But so has been Stocky, and that's the reason why he is even in contention to win another FRR championship. Here we go then. Tensions will arise, not only in this race, but also in Abu Dhabi, if it is to carry out. But tension can stop today. Whether it stops or not is all in the mind of Stocky. So, the standings in the championship, I've already explained that Stocky, if he comes first or second in today's race, and that means he is world champion. But also in terms of constructors, Ferrari 169 points ahead of Aston Martin by Aston Martin have 154 points. Ferrari only have 15 points ahead of Aston Martin. But with Aston Martin missing very crucial driver of Weeksy, the man who is battling Stocky for the championship, that gap between Ferrari will surely disintegrate and will most likely expand into a lead which cannot be caught up in Abu Dhabi. But in terms of the track itself, it's a 5.514 kilometre-mile track. It has 20 turns. Turn 4 and 8 are the S sections, which can be the most difficult turns to maneuver around in this not only track, but maybe in terms of F1 tracks. Also, it has a massive straight between turn 11 and 12, and also it's located in Austin, Texas. Who's going to come out on top in Austin? We all know who most likely it's supposed to be, or in terms of script, who it should be, but will it be that man? And that said man is now out of the pits, and he will be going onto an outlap here, ready to warm up the car and to get himself into the mind of becoming a champion once more. We're going to have everything enabled so you all know what you want to, what you want to know, the telemetry, how much they're improving and how or where they are in terms of the track. You might notice that I haven't handed over to my co-commentator yet, and that's because I don't have a co-commentator for today. Unfortunately, Josh was not able to attend, and I'm going to have to go solo. But they should not take anything away for a mesmerised or mesmerable end to a fantastic season. Well, it could end. This is actually not the final race, of course. The last race is next week, Abu Dhabi. But I will be expressing that it's the end if Stocky does come first or second in the race itself, which does mean he would be champion of the world. That's what I mean when I say this is the end of it. It's not actually next week is Abu Dhabi, but this is the race where everything could all fall, not fall apart, but come to a sympathetic end for Stocky and Ferrari itself. As Stocky will now start his first flying lap here in Austin, Texas. Turn 1 being also the most easiest spot to overtake, the easiest turn to have a go down the inside, unless if you're George Russell. But as now Stocky goes through the S sections, just going on the curb a little bit there, just trying to manoeuvre as well he can through the tricky and twisty turns in COTA. And now he will have the DRS open onto this massive straight, which I pointed out being between turn 11 and 12. A lot of things will be running into Stocky's mind as he's going through this lap, making sure to get everything pinpoint perfect, as he's just done perfectly that once more. The Ferrari, this has been a really neat and tidy lap so far. It's just dependent on this Sector 3 and what will Stocky perform in Sector 3. We will see right now as he is going to majestically manoeuvre round the last 2 turns of his flying lap. And this is a standard which everybody will try to meet. What is that standard? 133.4 for Stocky. As he came around that last turn, we got Finley Smith here in the Alpine. What's he going to meet? Is he going to meet anything close towards it? It's going to be a 133.8, so 4/10 off of Stocky's time. We're going to go over to the last few people going across the line. Crazy Reefer just starting his lap time. Filthy Scrubber up 134.6. Definitely not what he wants so far. Night Owl in Aston Martin. So loads of people are now trying to finish off their lap times. Finley Smith coming in there for P3, but that's quickly taken by Razagamer HD. He is the other Ferrari man. Ace of race pace with an invalid lap time. Henkaz here, still manoeuvring it around. And Tria, surprisingly, only 6th on the grid so far. We know that Alfa Romeo is blisteringly fast. And I'm sure it will be even quicker when we get into the race itself. Henkaz now in the McLaren looking to come across the line. What are they going to perform? Oh, it's P4, 133.853. That is 2,000ths of what Finley Smith's time was. Or 2,000ths more of what Finley Smith's was. So, very tight in the midfield section, but in terms of up top, only 1/10 separates. I don't know how to say that. What? Dude. Me. I'm calling him me. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. So, Stocky 1/10 or so ahead of me. And, well, not me racing, of course, but you get what I mean. Razagamer HD, of course, in P3 ahead of Henkaz, who is in P4 and so forth. We still have a couple more drivers to come across the last turn. Bang here. He had a very surprising Monza Grand Prix, finished very high up on the leaderboard, was battling it out with Weeksy until the very end of that Monza Grand Prix and almost got the overtake into turn 1. He expressed after that race that it was a very nervy time for him, as I'm sure this is a very nervy time for Stocky as well. So, bang! We'll now go on to a flyer lap very soon here, as he's going to finish off his Sector 2, warming up his tyres to the best of his ability. Stocky, me, Razza, Gamer HD in the pits. with Night Owl, Tria, and Filthy Scribbler. By the way, tomorrow is Tier 2, and that's when Night Owl could wrap up his championship battle. So you don't want to miss that one either. But this one, I would argue, is the most nerve-wracking one of all. So Bang going to go on his flying lap. What will the Williams perform in COTA as he just starts in Sector 1, going up to that massive left-hander into the first turn, of course, in Circuit of America's COTA for short. Now going to go onto the twisty and tricky sections of the S's here. Left to right, back to left, back to right. Making sure to be steady on the throttle as you go. This has been so far a clean lap, as I think that's an Alfa Romeo has to get in the way there. So not too good for Bang. Set a purple sector 1 though, so this is a really good lap from Bang so far. It's been neat and tidy. Has to be nothing but in this 2 sectors. Now going on to that massive straight with DRS wide open. Driving into the sun practically there. But this lap time so far has been really, really good. Has to be even better though if he wants to take that top spot. So now going around into the next turn, making sure to skip over the curb as much as you can without getting it invalidated, of course. That's purple second sector as well from Bang. So he's had a really good lap so far in the Williams. He's got to try and just get the car across the line, and I'm sure this is going to be very close, if not pole, as now this is the part where I always spin. Bang hasn't. Into a left-hander. Now last 2 turns. Is this pole? It's been an absolutely beautiful lap so far. DRS open. It's not going to be pole. 134.4 P7 for Bang. But Stocky is on his lap, and he's just finished off his first turn. Can the Ferrari improve? Goes into those S sections. Dimmy. I'm calling him Dimmy. I can't say just me. Always found a lap time there for Stocky. He had 1/10 up on. Sorry, he had 1/10 up on his previous lap time, but that 10th won't matter no more because his lap has been invalidated, which opens the door for Dimmy to try and get that pole position. Can the number 2 of the Alfa Romeo meet up, if not improve on his previous time? He's got 2/10 up so far. That would put him pole. He's got to try and manoeuvre around the Sector 2 at the best of his abilities, which then could see him onto pole position here. Of course, Bang had that purple's first sector, purple second sector, but oh, a little bit of wheel spin! Much more than a little bit of wheel spin. An actual massive spin there for Dimmy, and his lap is over. It was promising. Now it's anything but. Runs a game of HD on an out lap. Henkaz in 4th could sneak in for. Oh, crazy griefer! 133.3 snatches up P1. That came out of nowhere. The Haas car spoiling the show for Stocky. Stocky's got to get right back at him. Astounding lap by the Haas car, 133.3. So far, with 7 minutes left to go in qualifying, it puts him on pole. Once again, HD, he will have a say in it and will go on board with him. Here, I'm assuming Dimmy coming into the pits. No, Dimmy going out on another lap. Okay then, I'm going to turn my attention over to Dimmy once we're done and dusted with Rise of Gamer HD here. So he's in the S's. Make sure you don't touch those sausage curbs at all, really. Otherwise you're dead, basically. 3,000ths of his previous time, that's the purple first sector. So this first sector really is very weak. And many people have conquered it so far, but it's just that tricky Sector 3 where most people mess it up on. Driving into the sun now. Well, how's Dimmy doing? going on to this next turn here. How much have they improved on their lap time so far? We'll have to see it in a second here. Let's press the game of HD. Cutting that curve just the tiniest bit. It's what you need to do. 0.3 improvement. This is looking like a really good time for Razza. He's got to improve just 1/10 more or 2/10 more to put him on top spot. So this Sector 3 has to be pinpoint perfect if he wants to claim pole here, as Henkas sneaks in for P4, taking Razza Gamers HD's previous position. That's an invalid lap time for Razza Gamer HD, and it doesn't look like Dimmy's improving on their time either. And I think they've stopped their time. Well, that was just a massive chunk of understeer, sorry. As, well, Crazy Griefer out of nowhere, and I quite literally mean out of nowhere, is still on pole as we see one car go off track. I think that's an Alfred Terry. That is going to be Tubbs. Oh! That's a big spin there by Ace of Race Pace. And, well, his lap is completely ruined. Tria getting up there into P8 as well. But the Haas car so far is supreme out of all of them. Who is going to meet up with him? Well, some more cars will come out the pit lane. I'm led to believe that's Ragnar who's just come out. And, well, this gives me a chance to talk about Top Gun as well, because he's not out of the title fight either. But he is 4 points away from being out of the championship fight. Well, it's technically 5 points. So, if Stocky scores more than 5 points here today, that means, well, 5 or more points. Then that means that Top Gun's title battle is done and dusted. So there has to be a miracle for Mr. Top Gun, not only in this race, but into the next one. We'll see how that shapes out for them. Tria invalid lap time. I think it's just a warm-up lap, though, or it's just a cool-down lap. I think they just reached into P8, and just stopped and decided to come into the pit lane now. But he's not in the pit lane, he's on an out lap. Ragnar. Of course, that's the man I'm talking about. Invalid lap time, well, it's an out lap, so it doesn't really matter. Sorry. Jesus. I haven't even eaten my dinner yet, and, well, speaking of my dinner, it's a little bit Austin, Texas theme, because it is some lovely barbecue ribs. But I'm sure barbecue ribs will be as tasty, if not less tasty, than what is going to happen and what is going to unfold in this, not only qualifying session with 2 minutes or so left to go, but also the Grand Prix itself. As Ragnar's going to go on a lap. 1 second or so, I think that's 0.6 actually, off of Bang's time. So he's really looking to have to improve here. He hasn't had a good run of form so far. He needs to pick something up today. He is also a Tier 2 driver, as is Night Owl as well, who's in P8 right now. Stealing P8 off of Tria. But Ragnar, top of the game in Tier 2, also like Night Owl, but just can't do the same in Tier 1. 1/10 goes Ragnar above their previous time. That's actually quite a large improvement so far. Needs to pick up a little bit more tenths, if not a second, to really try and put them in contention for a potential pole. Don't think it's going to happen for them, as I think Stocky's right there in the same turn, rating to go on his next run, and he is. So it's him versus Crazy Griefer for pole, really. Maybe Dimmy can just sneak in there for a surprise, but I don't think they will. Ragnar going to finish off his time very soon here. 0.6 improvement, so this is around Bang's time, so there would be improvements so far, as Ace of Race Pace sets his time and just said, you know what, I'm giving up. And he really didn't do that well in qualifying, and I'm doubting he'll do anything but. Well, I'm betting he'll do anything but going into the Grand Prix itself. But here's Ragnar going to tie off his lap. What's this lap going to be, as Stocky and Crazy Grief are going on their respective laps as well. P9, massive improvement for Ragnar. But Stocky also needs to improve. He's got Cleaner. And the question is Stocky going to just snatch pole in the last 50 seconds or so of qualifying? I mean, if he still starts P2 and ends P2, he's still champion. Just always a lap time. And that is over for Stocky, so he definitely will not be on pole. Maybe he'll go on for a second run literally instantly after this one, but he has to be quick to the line to make sure he'll actually go on for that lap, but I don't think he will be able to cross that line. So yeah, definitely over for Stocky. His qualifying run has ended. It's just dependent on whether Dimmy can really improve on their time and beat him out as well. So right now, Crazy Griefer will stay pole. This is around where Stocky ended his lap by invalidation. Right there in those S sections. I told you they were tricky. Maybe they'll pick up some penalties for Stocky going into the Grand Prix. Something he's going to have to improve on. As we see, I think that's Tubbs retired from the session. Now driving into the sun goes Dimmy. Crazy Griefer on pole. I believe that would be his first in FRR. I believe, by the way. I don't think I don't know if it is. I think it is. I don't know if it is. And yeah, you can see there. Oh, Crazy Griefer improves. And a little bit of spin there from Dimmy. That's surely game over. But who's on pole? Crazy Griefer, an improvement with a 133.3 to a 133.2. The littlest of improvements. But in the grand scheme of things, that's a huge improvement. Razagamer HD out-qualifies his teammate Stocky. So Stocky will not be P2 going into the Grand Prix. In fact, he could be P3 or less, dependent on whether Henkas can really push for this Sector 3. Hell, maybe even Henkas can get pole himself. Henkas, round the last turn. Maybe. A last gasp. Oh, he has out-qualified Stocky. P2 for Henkas. Was so close to getting P1. Just needed 1/10 more. And he would have got right up there with Crazy Griefer. But he's gotten not only right up, but above of Stocky. And Stocky, for his standards, not going to be very happy with this qualifying session. And going into this Grand Prix, he's not got a mountain to climb, that's for sure. But just maybe there's a little bit of hope for Week C. For the fact that this could continue out into Abu Dhabi. But Crazy Griefer as a whole, as you can see right there, is on pole. I do think that's his first ever pole in FRR. So congratulations to Crazy Griefer in that Haas. For an astounding lap of a 133.2 was above everybody else on the grid. Henkas P2, Razagamer HD P3, P4 Stocky, Dimmy P5, Brad P6, Tria P7, Finley P8, Night Owl P9, Ranger P10, Tubbs P11, Scrubber Dub, Filthy Scrubber Dub P12, Bang P13, Brewmaster P14, Ace of Race Pace P15, and Scruffy Dub P16. What's going to happen into the Grand Prix? Is history going to be made? Or does it have to just wait until Abu Dhabi? Let's see next in COTA. And so as the cars will warm themselves up for the start of a, nevertheless, what happens today, historic Grand Prix. There will be a lot of things running in the back of the mind of Stocky. But not only Stocky, but also Weeksy, who will most likely be watching this. And will hopefully just be able to reach himself up into Abu Dhabi to make sure that this battle for the championship expands up until Abu Dhabi. But the odds are definitely against him. The odds in favour of Stocky. As Crazy Griefer dumps it into the wall, Stocky will make sure to not follow suit. He wants to keep his cool for this Grand Prix. He needs to go up either 2 or 3 places at the end of this race to make sure he secures the crown and glory. He's met all of his objectives, all of the mountains he has to climb, or had climbed so far. There's just one final peak he has to conquer to cement himself in Tier 1 as one of the greatest drivers to be known. So then, this man will lead the way, Crazy Griefer. A new boy at the front. Inexperienced to the rest, though he has got many experience on track, just not quite at the front of the grid. We've got all red of Ferrari in P3 and P4. But the white of the Haas car is up front. 5 red lights. Green light. Go, go, go. Here in the Circuit of Americas in FRR. Here we go. Stocky with a poor start and Brad and Dimmy looking to have an overtake here. Down the inside. Stocky goes. Dimmy going way off track. The Alfa Romeo really having a good time so far. And Henkaz instantly slips down the order as Brad, his teammate, takes the lead so far. What happened also to Crazy Griefer? There's been a DNF, 2 DNFs so far. And there is a safety car being brought out here so early on here in COTA. My oh my, what kind of drama unfolded as you see the dead remains of both Brewmaster and Cloud Bang. Unfortunately for Stocky, it's not the start that he needed, and he remains P4 in the midst of all of the battles up front. Brad, very rarely I get to say this, is leading a Grand Prix. Good friends with Stocky. Today he could be an enemy. Well, the safety car is out. I'm not too sure what happened with Master or Bang, as we saw Razagamer HD fall down the order. Wait, hold on. That's 1, 2. That's 2 people who were ahead of Stocky that has fallen down the order, fallen back against him. But he still has been stuck in P4. Crazy Griefer with not the start he would have prayed for. And he stays in P3 for the moment as Stocky, he's hungry for the championship, so he will be breathing down his neck at every single turn and corner. Stocky in the pits though. So is there damage or is there just... Why is he... This is a very early pit stop here from Stocky. This could be detrimental to his Grand Prix. What is he going on to? Is it wing damage? No, it's just a strategic pit stop from Stocky. I don't know why he's done that. Switched his strategy up goes on the mediums, comes out in P10. I don't know what the man is thinking, but if he's thinking it, surely it will be successful, as the inheritor of his throne is Night Owl. He is in P4 now. The green of Aston Martin. Speaking of, need to really get some points if they want to carry not only the Drivers' Championship, of course, with Weeksy, but also the Constructors into Abu Dhabi. So they will be wanting to pick up many points. And they can't do that with just one driver, so I'm not too sure if they'll be able to put this into Abu Dhabi. We'll have to see. But Razagame HD was involved in a lot of things on that start. I didn't really quite get a lot of things noted in there, as there was just so much going on. It was just a blip, really. Close your eyes, you blink for a second, and then all of a sudden you see Stocky in P10 and you're wondering what has happened. So, Brad leads the way as we await Ragnar and Razagamer HD to just end off this safety car. Will just be one more person, and it's Night Owl in the pit lane. So many other people pitting as well, and Stocky again. What's happened for Stocky to make him have to pit twice? A loss of the front wing, and that means Razagame HD is going to be held up in the pit lane, of course. So he's gone back over to the hards with a new front wing on. This is a disaster start for Stocky. The script is not being performed. Stocky pits twice under a safety car. This went from a hill to a mountain to climb. Stocky with a problem at the start could mean a problem at the end. Now I'm assuming we'll round up the safety car in this lap. Stocky's there. We're waiting on Razza. Also, that gap from Shmee to the rest needs to come down. Otherwise, that might be actually penalties. But safety car is in this lap. So we go green again. Of course, you cannot overtake until you cross that line to round up the lap. So until you go round the last turn and go across the finish line, you cannot overtake any car in front of you. Luckily for Brown, he's got no one in front of him to overtake. And the best thing about that is he's able to manipulate the pace of everybody else in the pack. Filthy Scrub It Up, I think, has just span. Not too sure what he's doing there, but he's now in P13. And now, we're underway here. Safety car, no more, as we go onto this straight here. And it looks like Finley just doesn't have the pace to compete there. Dimmy might go into the inside there, into the first turn. He's not going to. Down the inside, though, his teammate goes. Let's straight on Henkaz, making sure to make the most of that opportunity. Ragnar side by side here with Night Owl. Night Owl looking for a switchback maneuver. I don't think it's going to work for the Aston Martin, so he stays behind. Stocky 1 second behind Night Owl himself, so he's not had a very good start at all. The Ferrari, they're down the inside. Night Owl goes here of Ragnar. These two battling it out through the S's and more. One's on the mediums, one's on the hards. And eventually Night Owl is able to become superior over Ragnar as Tria makes another overtake here of Ace of Race Pace, but that's massive straight. This massive straight. Surely he's going to come into the favour of Ace of Race Pace here. As now he's going down the straight. Crazy Griefer might go for an overtake here. Down the inside he goes of Finley Smith. These two almost making the connection. The Haskell looking to go round the outside now. Still staying close, sticking close to the Alpine. Down the inside once more. These two side by side through many corners here in Sector 2. They're still going at it. This battling comes into the favour of Brad, placed right into the hands of the McLaren. I think Crazy Grief has just rounded off the battle, but no! Finley Smith's going right back at him down the inside. These two are not giving up, as I think Finley might go for it into the first turn here. Crazy Grief ahead, but not by much. They're literally equal on time here. Down the inside Finley goes. He's later on the brakes. Little switchback manoeuvre here from Crazy Griefer. They're still going at it. I think Finley Smith has just got the re-overtake, but still, they're so close going into the S's. These two giving it their all for P2 here. And this is what FRR is all about. This absolutely wonderful racing. Well, Ace of Race Pace doesn't really show that as he spins all the way down into P14. But that gap now to Brad is at a staggering 2 seconds as we go onto the straight here. This straight's going to be very key for Tubbs. A little bit of a spin. Then that plays into the hands of Tubbs himself. He's on the mediums, he's on the softer set of compound there, as now he's just aligned with the Haskell onto the straight. Down the inside he'll go, the AlphaTauri. Maybe another switchback from Crazy Grief, or is he just letting that AlphaTauri go by? He is, oh! That's a massive spin from Finley. Did not ghost in time. And Tubbs has just got wing damage. And it's gifted Tria second place as Henkaz looking. Oh, we could be 3 wide here. Going into the right-hander. It looks like Night Owl got the overtake on Tubbs. He's looking to make it 3 wide between the two. No, it's 2 wide. No, not even that. I think Henkaz just got the overtake and Night Owl got an overtake on Tubbs. Oh, no, big crash. And big spin there by Henkaz. He's falling down the order as well. The positions are practically being gifted to Stocky now as Crazy Griefer goes into the pit lane for damage. So does Tubbs. These two colliding with that spin from Finley. Finley did not ghost in time. This is also played perfectly into the hands of Brad as well. 3.5 seconds is the gap. And Stocky, the gap to second place. Second is all he needs to win this Grand Prix. Scruffy Dub has just fallen down the order there. Horrible for Scruff, but 9 seconds to the leader. That's 6 seconds to P2. So that's what he needs as he goes down the inside of Finley Smith here, who just recently span, of course. Now going on to the straight, he's of course going to be gifted the slipstream there, Finley, but is he going to still keep in within reach of the Ferrari? He's not. Maybe down the inside the Alpine will go? No, just staying behind. That's a smart thing to do. And I think Stocky just has a clean overtake on Finley himself as he went round the outside, and that is going to be P6 for Stocky. Oh, maybe not. Down the inside the Alpine will go. That is a really audacious move, but it might work out for Finley. Scruffy Dub with a 3-second time penalty. That move for Finley did not work out at all as Razagame HD is trying to get the overtake here on Mr. Filthy Scrubber Dub. Round the outside he'll go of that Red Bull. He's pushed off wide there, and Tria gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We go into the helicopter here, and Henkaz has retired from the session. He's out of the Grand Prix. What's happened with Henkaz? Involving a safety car coming out here. Henkaz with a mistake in the fortune for Tria, as that 3.6 second gap is now going to disintegrate disintegrate. Sorry, by a substantial amount. So we just saw for a split second there, Henkaz's car went into the side of that wall. That's one McLaren story. This is the other for Brad. He, so far, is leading the Grand Prix. And Brad will definitely not like the fact the safety car is brought out. Which would mean that, I've said it before, Tria's gap between Brad's is going to come down massively. And that gap with a 3.6 will go to around 5/10. So Brad, on the restart of the safety car, will really have to focus up in trying to get a lead like that back. He was so fortunate that not only Finley span, but also that Tubbs and I think it also was Crazy Griefer had damage from that moment. Just Finley did not ghost in time, as Brad will come into the pit lane. So does Tria. No, 5 seconds there for the both of them. Timmy's not going to do the same. Neither Night Owl. Is Stocky in the pits? No, he's not in the pit lane. He's coming up the order. And, well, this is your new race leader. It's going to be Dimmy. He's on the hard set compound tyres. I'm sure that Brad's actually switched onto the same tyres himself. And he has. So, Night Owl here and Ragnar, both tier 2 drivers. I'm going to have to try and invite Mr. Ragnar back if I can. I cannot. That's unfortunate. So, if somebody can invite him back, maybe he's just ghosting for no reason then, but we'll have to see. But Dimmy here, the Alfa Romeo. In P1, I think started P5 on the grid, or around that area. And, well, the man who's in P5 right now is Razza. Stocky has restored himself back up into P4, though. The safety car has done him some good. Dimmy. Leading the way. Very inexperienced. I haven't really seen him drive at all in FRR. So this is a newcomer in a not so familiar spot at all. Not only for him, but for many drivers. That includes Night Owl as well. So we've got practically sheep at the top and foxes in the middle. So, is anybody else going to come into the pit lane? I have to wonder. Doesn't seem like it. Just maybe there'll be that odd one person coming into the pit lane. That is going to be Ace of Race Pace. Coming into the pit lane. I'm assuming that's going to be for hard tyres. No, just retiring from the session. Just giving up. And fair enough. Here there, Dimmy really burning out the tyres, really trying to get it warmed up, ready for the restart of the Grand Prix. And we silently wait for the message up top which says that the safety car will be in. And we are patiently waiting, and the tense, the suspense is building up for Stocky himself. Second or first, that's all he needs. He'll get P3 easily because Ragnar's, of course, ghosting. Safety car is in. Or is coming in. So. Dimmy leads the way here on the restart on the safety car. You cannot overtake anybody until you cross that line. So Dimmy will manipulate the pace of anybody else. When is he going to put full throttle? I think he has now. He has definitely now. Has Nightowl read it? He really hasn't. Stocky here could get the move on Ragnar pretty easily here. Maybe into the first turn. Is Nightowl going to send it? No, he isn't. So Stocky just staying behind Ragnar so far. Coming very close towards him. And you can see they're side by side. Dimmy and Nightowl going into the S sections. Is it going to be... Oh! Nightowl! Tumbling down the order. You have blocked the view by one of the sides on track. And Stocky inherits P2. He's currently world champion. The misfortune of Nightowl will play into the misfortune of Weeksy. If Stocky can keep this, down the inside Tria goes on Razagame HD. They move up another position. So Tria really could battle this with Stocky. We know he's got the speed. Now we see Razagame HD there, overtake on Ragnar. Could get an overtake here on Tria as we go into the next turn here. Round the outside, he's looking to go. The Ferrari, he can't get the overtake even within his grasp. And Tria will sit a comfortable P3. Filthy scrub it up with the overtake on Ragnar. So Ragnar really falling down the order by ghosting there. But Tria really wants to close that gap down to Stocky. And it's what Crazy Grief has already done to Brad. Brad, formerly the inheritor of P1. He's now P6. As now we... Sorry. As now we go down the inside there. Crazy Griefer. On the McLaren, maybe a switch back. We're going to get a form there by Brad. No, he has to stay behind. Sorry for that mute, by the way. My ribs have come into the room, so it's my mum delivering them. But, oh, I can smell it. It's really nice. But Stocky can most certainly smell for glory here. He's also got to try and sniff out an opportunity on Dimmy himself to really try and cement his top spots. I'm begging for a safety car so I can eat my ribs. But it might be Stocky's time to feast on Dimmy, as he's getting staggeringly close to Dimmy here. Dimmy could be a sitting duck. I mean, if Dimmy can defend against Stocky for quite some time, that will bring Tria into the equation. And would most likely mean that Tria could go toe-to-toe with the Ferrari and would hold up Stocky. And if they were to get an overtake on Stocky, of course, Stocky would not be able to be world champion. All eyes are him to retain his championship crown, as now we see Tubbs falling down the order as well. Stocky has to make sure he does not do the same. DRS enabled. Is Tria going to be within that second on the next lap? That's very important to know, as we know Stocky will be within DRS of Dimmy into this lap. And Razagame HD going side by side here with Finley Smith, as they are P4, P3. And I think Razigo HD with the overtake down on Finley. Just get it clean on the inside. Finley might have been forced wide, but Razigo HD will not mind at all. He is now in P4. Tria's definitely within that 1 second spot. 3/10 inside of that 1 second spot. It is now going to get DRS on this straight. So is Stocky on Dimmy. He's now 3/10 close to Dimmy. This should be an overtake for P1 here for Stocky. If he's able to calculate it and get it right, he might not even have to do it in the corner. He's got so much speed. Stocky looking to go on the inside. Can Dimmy defend against it? I don't think he will. On the inside, Stocky goes. And he's got it. Cleanly as you like. And the foggy view of him being champion just 11 laps ago has now become a very clear distance away. Stocky's P1 in this Grand Prix, and at the end could be P1 in the championship standings. Can he retain his crown? Ragnar with a slip. Ragnar goes off the track. You can see Dimmy though getting very close. Will be trying to fight back for P1, but Stocky had so much more pace. And Stocky just has to keep this on for 16 laps. Oh, but here comes Dimmy. Look at that speed. Down the inside he goes. Maybe can push Stocky back down into P2. Stocky's still battling it, though. Into the next one. I think he's just about pulled in ahead. No, Dimmy forced to stay behind. It's bring Tria into the equation. But now, Dimmy could be battling it out with Stocky. And has been battling out with Stocky. Could it turn fatal for Stocky as they go onto the straight here? Of course, Dimmy will get that DRS. Into turn 1 now. We can see a little bit of a slip up there from Stocky. Hate that view. I hate that camera angle. Nobody wants to see that. But Stocky, though, still retaining his crown so far. He's got to do it for 15 laps. And then he's champion once more. Ragnar with the 3-second time penalty as we go onto this straight once more. Dimmy, are they going to go for it again? They've got a lot of speed. Have they got a lot of nerve? They haven't. They wisely stay behind. And that time they couldn't go for it. Finley Smith there, down the inside on Razzie Gamer HD. Razza with those 3 seconds. Won't matter too much, but would be more satisfying to get P4 on track rather than off it. And this battle comes to a close as Finley does inherit P4. Crazy Grief for spinning down the order. Was once P1 starting this Grand Prix, is now to his dissatisfaction in P10 or below. You can see though Dimmy really pushing the limits. Really trying to get this overtake on Stocky. But it's just not quite enough. When will the edge finally disappear? When? Oh, when will the pathway to championship glory disappear. Oh, a little bit of a spin there from Stocky. That's huge. Let's now go on to this back straight. And now Dimmy's really sticking close to the Ferrari of Stocky. Just needs to make sure that they don't do anything stupid in this turn here. They don't. And now onto this straight. Surely they'll be able to catch up to Stocky by a substantial amount. I don't think they will. Really didn't put on the throttle as well as I thought they did. And Tria, the teammate, could go for a move here. No, decides not to. Broke really early there. And made sure to stay behind. They are slowly pulling away from Finley. So it's not horrible if he does decide to stay behind Tria. But I would have seen an overtake coming for him. But Stocky, he's under pressure. But he's still got P1. And so far, he's still got the championship. You can see that gap with Dimmy. I mean, right at that point, that would be 3/10. It was 5/10 that time. So, Dimmy just starting to fall off now. And Stocky to be champion seems a lot more doable than it was before. Yet again, Dimmy just cannot get close. Oh no! Tria with 3 seconds on the clock. That's fatal for Weeksy for trying to stretch this out to Abu Dhabi. If Stocky doesn't get a time penalty, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to beat P1 by the end of this Grand Prix. Dimmy into the pit lane. I believe onto the mediums. Stocky though, with every single lap, it's getting even more clear that he is king of Tier 1. You just need to prove that in about 10 laps or so. Well, Finley and Razza have been quite close with each other for quite some time in terms of battling. And right there, I think that time, just a bit too eager there, gamer, as Brad is able to overtake Razza. And, well, a teammate of Stocky, or Stocky himself, going into the pit lane. So, undercut strategy then from Dimmy. Is it going to work? Are they going to come out ahead of Stocky? Here we go. It's just going to be close. No! Stocky is ahead. A car does indeed separate the two. The car being Ragnar, but it does not. Oh no! Demi spins as well as Ragnar. Big coming together between the two. It brings out the safety car. Demi's chance at a race win is surely over. Oh my word, that is a huge turning point. I mean, it may not seem like it because what's Ragnar done in this Grand Prix to affect anything? But that affects a challenger for Stocky himself. And well, things are falling right into the place for Ferrari. This is the perfect time to delve into your dinner like I'm doing, or to just watch with pain, as Stocky right now is currently champion of the world with only 8 or so laps to go. Is it game over for Weeksy? So, I finished my dinner. Is Stocky gonna eat Finley for dinner? As with the safety car will be coming in this lap, will the championship come in to Stocky's hands? So, the message will pop up soon. With only 8 or so laps to go. 8 laps of nervous watching for Weeksy. With Tria getting those 3 seconds. It does mean right now Stocky second. It does mean right now he's champion. The gap between Tria and Finley must get to 3 and must remain 3. And Finley must remain P2. For this to just carry out into Abu Dhabi. But will it carry out into Abu Dhabi? It's the question that is going to be answered. In 8 laps, we go green once again in COTA, and Finley has a fantastic start here, getting very close to Tria, baiting the move into turn 1. Stocky's fell off behind Finley. He's being pressured right now by Brad. Filthy scrub it up, going side by side here with Razagamer HD. And still, these two are going to be battling it out through the S sections here. And I think Filthy scrub it up just come out on top. He has, with Night Owl lurking behind Razagamer HD to make sure he can get an overtake on the same man that Filthy scrub it up did as well. Really trying to feast off and fend off of Dimmy, which he might not do, or Dimmy baiting it. Night Owl not phased. As they go into the straight. Stocky getting close. Brad getting closer. Well, Brad didn't go for it. The smart choice. The gap with Tria and Finley now is 1 second. That needs to expand to 3. If Stocky is not to be crowned champion today, that is the order that needs to be met. Stocky now on a straight. Stocky now wanting to get an overtake on Finley. And if or when he can, it would most certainly mean victory. 6. A small number, but a long time. 6 laps. 120 or so corners left. What will happen? What drama is to happen by the end of this? No one has been able to predict it so far. And I'm sure the ending is nothing but predictable. Anything, I should say, but predictable. And Finley, with that 2.1 second gap, that needs to expand to 3. And if it is to expand to 3, then Stocky needs to get an overtake on this Alpine as soon as he can. Tria is running away with it right now. Stocky needs to catch up. DRS enabled. DRS is going to become a thriving factor here in Stocky trying to get an overtake on Finley. And you can see Finley struggling through those S sections. He's going to be a setting duck, surely. Stocky now. going onto the straight with DRS and Slipstream. Surely an overtake will occur. Look at the speed the Ferrari's got. Disintegrating that time, that gap. And Stocky goes for the move. Down the inside. Finley looking for an up and under move. He's got it. Switchback manoeuvre finished. But Stocky's still able to keep his nose and wing fully into this. All four of the wheels need to be past Finley for the overtake to be secured. Maybe a switchback going to be performed here by Stocky. Needs to try and keep this side by side with Finley. This brings Brad into the equation as well. I think Stocky's got the move done and dusted on Finley. He has. And right now, he's still champion of the world. Finley really needs to close this gap down and try and overtake for glory to be turned over to Weeksy. Or potential glory, as I should say. But it's not looking likely. And Stocky just might run away with the championship. Stocky overtakes Finley for P2. As we talk about that, you see Razagame HD, teammate of Stocky, of course, with an overtake on Dimmy. That's been the most key overtake he's performed today. These are the most key laps he's going to perform today. Glory could be his today. Brad could have gone down the inside there of Finley Smith. I think Finley is really just sitting duck, and that 1.2 gap to Stocky out of ERS is Finley. Surely done and dusted. Round the outside, Brad's looking to go, and Brad's got the move done. That 1.2 gap now hovers around 9/10. Maybe Brad will put pressure on Stocky. But like Stocky, he hasn't already got pressure, not only in this race, but also this season. He's coped with all that pressure brilliantly. He needs to cope with it once more. '25th out of 28. .60 turns. Now 59 to go. Finley with 3 seconds. So has Night Owl. He's also got that 3 seconds. This man does not have 3 seconds. He has to make sure he does not get 3 seconds. The pressure, the eyes are all looking at his car, at his performance, being studied from each and every person's mind. It's funny because last season, when Elite Risks won at Abu Dhabi, although he was a very new driver, Stocky did say to him, next season might be a walk in the park for you. And Elite Risks has done anything but, to be honest. And this season isn't even what Stocky expected it to be, nor was it I expected it to be. And are these 2 laps going to be what we're all led to believe to be? Or is there still, at the latter stages of this race, even more drama? Finley Smith looking for an overtake on Brad very soon, but with his pace currently, I don't think that's going to be a possibility. Just struggling through those S sections. Right now, P4 didn't very look likely, I think, for him going into the Grand Prix. Right now, he does have it secured. Can he keep it secured? Right, by the way, that gap between him and Stocky really, really expanding. So, even if Stocky was to get 3 seconds, that might not even matter much. And with everybody being evenly spaced apart, except from Filthy Scrubadub to Razza, one side of the Ferrari's end being 6th, the other being potentially champion of the world. It is quite a marginable gap. 2 laps. That's all it is. 2 laps, Stocky. Hang tight. Don't hold your breath. Gonna be trying to get closer there to Filthy Scrubadub as we enter the S sections. Dimmy had that crash involving Ragnar, which brought out a safety car, which meant he was going to be out of the battle with Stocky. That was another key turning point late on in this Grand Prix, which could be laid into the hands of Stocky's victory and glory. Dimmy trying to get closer to Filthy Scrubadub. Two laps. It went from 6 to 2. It will shortly go from 2 to 0. Nerves are high for Weeksy. The nerves even higher, I'm sure, for Stocky. He had a very unfortunate start to this Grand Prix. And going into this Grand Prix, and not only the Grand Prix but qualifying session, he had a lot of pressure being mounted on top of him, like he had throughout all of the season so far. Stocky was met with 2 pit stops under a safety car, which put him second to last place. He's now second till first to Trier. Technically first off track. Stocky reigned supreme last season, and I was fortunate to have my words being expressed over it. I'm going to have that fortune once more. A majestic driver. A man who creates the peak. And when he does create it, he's the one that conquers it. He creates the records and then he breaks them. He creates the battles and he finishes them. And he's finished the one of the championship as Stocky is champion of the world. Stocky reigns supreme over Weeksy in the championship standings, and the Ferrari man has done it once again. History is made in Austin, Texas, and Stocky will be more than satisfied with making it. Stocky, champion of Season 2. The red of Ferrari stands on top of the podium once more. This time, the one in which will be the most satisfactory and the one which will be held close to hearts for Stocky. He's done it again. And he is king of Tier 1. Congratulations to Stocky for winning another FRR championship. And he also won tonight's race here in Austin, Texas. As here were the final standings here in COTA. Stocky P1, Trio P2, Brad P3, Finley Smith P4, Nightel P5, Dimmy P6, Master Gamer HD P7, Scruffy Dub P8, Filthy Scrubber Dub P9, Crazy Griefer P10, Ragnar P11, Tubbs P12, Ace of Race Pace P13, P14 goes to Henkaz, Roommaster P15, and Cloudbang P16. Thank you all for watching the end of such a great championship battle. Thank you all for either listening or watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day tomorrow and then on. I've been your host and commentator, Harrison, or as otherwise known, Silent Pistol. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.